Welcome back to the JoySchtick.Show, where your three favorite friends from Hawaii here to talk story about comic news, pop culture, and video games. If this is your first time, mahalo for spending some time with us. I'm your co-host Drake, and that's Thomas.
Hey, we're actually in Hawaii.
Heyo, we're in Hawaii, chilling out. Unfortunately, we don't have Scott with us at this very second, but for a very good reason, because we're all here to celebrate Scott's wedding, which is tomorrow.
I think. Did you bring the invitation?
I did not bring the invitation.
Me either.
I literally don't know where it is. I think we both have to call to see what to wear.
Nope, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
Wink, wink.
I'm pretty sure clothes, but you never know.
You never know, man.
You never know. But what have you been up to? It's been a while since we last spoke. This was New Year's? Pre-Christmas?
Yeah.
So into 2023, what's new?
Man, wow, it feels crazy that we've taken so much time off. Because last year, I don't think we skipped a week the entire year. And we put out 65 plus episodes and we didn't take a break 1 week. So it was weird having the 2 weeks off to not record anything. Did you feel the same way?
I did feel the same way. I mean, getting to hang out with everybody on a Monday is kind of like standard procedure. Yeah. But something of note that took place was we had a call to arms for all of our viewers and listeners, family and friends to come out and help us get to 2K. And we totally got there. So congratulations to you all for being a part of the 2022 situation.
Yay!
Oh.
Well said, man. Yeah, that was really cool of you guys. And man, yeah, that was crazy. So more to come. Hopefully we can hit 3K in 23. That would be pretty awesome.
That'd be pretty great. I mean, every year we get 1,000 more, hopefully hundreds of millions, but...
Of dollars? Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was cool. Just nice holidays. Christmas was cool. It just felt pretty relaxing. New Year's was extra chill. We just stayed in San Diego, and it was raining, so there was no fireworks.
Ooh.
But we stayed in. We had some champagne, just me and Christina and the dogs, and then we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, my goodness. And you know what? What a beautiful acronym, EEAAO, YAO, as we call it. And we'll get to that review in a little bit, because we all watched it, so we'll touch on that. But... Thomas, you have some new news.
I have some news.
Scoops.
Yeah, man. So we have some cool things opening up this year, right? Super Nintendo World is opening up in the U.S. this February. Is that something you want to go to?
I believe I was looking online at it was an Instagram feed, and they were making foods. Is that what that's going to be like at this one, do you think?
I think so. I think that's the Japan one. No, I think that is the Japan Super Nintendo World. But yeah, we're getting one, I think, in Universal Studios. So I hope so, because they were making the waffle hats. Like they had the Mario version and they had the Luigi one, right?
Yeah,
that looks super good.
They had like a soup that had a mushroom covering over it, and when you open it up, it was soup. So almost like a bread and soup combination. I mean, they really went deep on what looks like the food to make it feel immersed in that Mario Super Nintendo world. So
yeah, the star with the popcorn.
Yeah, and it came apart, and then you could have the star turn on too.
Yeah,
the swag's gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be real cost effective as well. And looking forward to potentially going with all of us. Maybe that could be a future endeavor that we all do.
Absolutely. Universal Studios, sponsor us. We will review it for you. So the next bit of news is, where are we at? We got some movies and some shows coming out this year. Let's just go through all of them, and let's just say, I want to hear if you're excited for them or not. All right, so the first one, Barbie on July 21st.
I am in between. I like Barbie because it's Margot Robbie. We'll see how the story goes.
Yeah, I like the trailer, so I'm hooked. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, February 15th.
Yes, I think every single children's book should come out with a horror.
Killers of the Flower Moon on May. It just says May. It doesn't have a date.
Oh, maybe, because it's something to do in May.
Nice. All right, Oppenheimer, July 21st.
I think yes, depending on how deep they go into the lore that's not really talked about in terms of how we acquired, essentially, German individuals of a certain flavor to build this thing. It's huge in American history, and hopefully we unveil more of that in that movie.
Definitely. I mean, Cillian Murphy's in it, so...
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good.
Got to be good.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, all about that. The Little Mermaid on May 26th.
Yes. I mean, we've been talking about it for almost 4 years, so
Yeah.
let's just watch it and get it over with.
Best hype announcement ever.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just get it over with.
Yeah, let's just do it already.
Super Mario Bros. The movie is out on April 7th.
Yes. I think during Christmas I was playing a lot of Super Mario Mario Party.
Oh, cool.
And to be honest, that got me super psyched for the movie just because we were playing that game so often. So
yeah, definitely. And that trailer just reminds me of Smash Brothers.
yes.
And getting to hang out with Scott and Justin and Kobe and Daniel all again and just talking about Smash Brothers for like a half an hour and how much time we wasted doing that. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Good old days. Yep.
Looks awesome. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is out June 30th.
Yep. Harrison Ford's going to be in it, so let's see him pass the torch more.
Yeah, and the girl from Fleabag.
Oh, yeah.
She looks cool. I think she plays his stepdaughter. She's super damn funny. I'm on board for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Indiana Jones movie.
Yep, true. John Wick Chapter 4, March 24th.
Yep, let's continue to see all of that anger put into bullet tips and fists. Fistuses.
Getting all the fistuses of John Wickuses. But yeah, that looks super good. I kind of watched... So if you go on HBO Max, they have the John Wick collection.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and I watched 1 and 2, and then I was like halfway through 3, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, it's... Man, he's such a badass character.
Yes, a little bit of side story, like the amount of effort he's put into his character in terms of him actually going through firearm training, actually doing the jiu-jitsu and a martial arts to kind of help him through the whole series. Like, he's done a lot to make it look real, and it shows, and it's a testament to his craft. Keanu, the Hawaiian god.
That's right. My Lord and Savior. The Expendables 4. I don't know about this one for me. It comes out on September 22nd. I mean, sure, I'll watch it, but I don't know about... It's not my most anticipated movies of the year. Is it sad?
No, it's not sad, but it will be interesting to see who they add, because they've usually added another action hero star along the way, but recently we haven't had a lot of quote-unquote action heroes unless they put Tom Cruise in there, but we're gonna see.
He should be in there.
We're gonna see.
He does all his own stunts, so he's...
That's true.
Badass dude.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which is coming out very soon, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And it comes out on February 17th.
I mean, for sure, that's going to kick off, Phase 5 we're in now?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, let's already get into it. We have a whole year of anticipated Marvel movies, so...
Yeah. Did we say Creed?
Creed 3?
Yeah, the reason why I'm thinking Creed is because Jonathan Major.
Oh, yeah, no.
Right? I mean, Jonathan Majors as King looks super badass.
Yeah.
And then he also looks jacked and badass in Creed 3. So I'm like... Jonathan Majors for me this year. Whatever he's in, that's on my most anticipated movie list. But yeah, man, so some crazy stuff. I would almost, for me, I want to change Expendables out. Sorry if you're a huge Expendables fan, but for Cocaine Bear, February 24th, because that looks insane.
I think a higher production Sharknado with a better story, because it's a real life story, right? Like,
yeah.
It's so interesting. I don't think that it can go wrong, really. I mean, it's got a spectacular cast. The CG is great looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy story. Just think to yourself, what would you do if you ran into a bear, hopped up on cocaine, and if your answer is survive, then you're obviously in a different realm than us.
Yeah. I'd be jealous of that. My answer is lose more limbs.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but the one I wanted to add as well that wasn't on here, There's a couple actually. Knock at the Cabin of the Woods, which Dave
yes.
Bautista's in. That looks super good. M. Night Shyamalan.
And Rupert, I forget his last name, but he was Ron Weasley.
Ron Weasley,
he's
yeah.
also in there. And M. Night Shyamalan's, since his Avatar situation, has come in pretty hot with some good stuff. So let's see how that goes.
I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. And Shazam: Fear of the Gods. I'm stoked about that.
No, definitely. I think in terms of DC, I know they're James Gunn is doing a lot to change everything around, but let's see what this leads us into. Lucy Liu.
Yeah, Lucy Liu's in it. And then, we know that The Rock's not in it because he said that, which is so weird. But I wonder if this closes the door on Zach Levi's Shazam.
Potentially. Yeah.
You think so? You think they close it out and he's not a part of the future anymore?
I mean, they're recasting pretty much every DC character because James Gunn wants to kind of take it in the direction, and hopefully that's for the better. But it is going to be maybe a soft goodbye for Zach Levy.
Yeah.
Levi's.
Definitely. Dude, also, what a good year for games. It seems like everything that got pushed back because of COVID is probably coming out this year. You had some news kind of on Hogwarts Legacy, right? It's supposed to come out on February 10th, but it doesn't look like that's exactly going to happen.
Yes, there's been some articles talking about WB essentially canceling a lot of pre-orders. When you read further into the article, it essentially, there was a lot, because it got pushed back for the PS4, and that's coming out in February, I believe. The PS5 versions and the Xbox One versions are supposed to be available, but there's also things to do with J.K. Rowling and how she kind of presents herself and her ideas outside of the Hogwarts world, and so that's kind of getting conflicting situations as well too. But I think aside from those things, waiting for the game, much like how Cyberpunk did, might make it even better and give you more anticipatory need or want for it. So hopefully it still comes out in a good amount of time and that it lives up to expectation.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that was like one of the gifts I got for Christmas, so that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But I am really looking forward to it. And yeah, if I have to wait, a few more weeks, whatever, that's fine. Like, that's okay. I'm so excited for that game, though. I'm looking forward to it. I would just randomly spit out some other games. Wild Hearts coming out February 17th. Atomic Hearts February 21. A lot of hearts this year. What else we got here? Star Wars Jedi Survivor, March 17th.
Yes.
That's pretty soon. So, really looking forward to that. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, May 12th. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, May 26th. We got the new Street Fighter, looks incredible. Forza Motorsport, new Minecraft, and Hades 2 early access, still TBD, but that's coming out this year.
Nice.
Hopefully. Man, yeah, so games are looking real good for this year as well. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of entertainment, you cannot say we won't have an adequate amount to keep us satisfied for the 2023s.
I'll never be satisfied.
Ooh.
Shout out to all my Hamilton fans out there.
Heyo!
But yeah, man, that's kind of it. I mean, just a lot to look forward to in 2023. It's just going to be a busy year. Plus, hopefully more events in the future for us, more expanding the show, more of the Spotlight series, which shout out to Rena. Yeah, because that was such a great time. I mean, I'm hoping we could do at least one of those episodes a month, but that was so fun. So look out for more Spotlight series coming this year, which I think is going to be great. Cool. Well, let's get into some things we watched because I don't know if we announced this, but we're kind of doing this live together in the same room, which we never do, which is really cool. So sorry if there's background noise. The editing is not going to be as good. Just because we can't fix all the background noise going on. But what did you watch? I mean, we had a few weeks off. Were you able to watch some stuff?
I was able to watch some things. One of the things I wanted to highlight was Blue Lock. We just came off of a World Cup year. Blue Lock is a Japanese anime that focuses around essentially soccer, right? So the whole identity is how does Japan make it out of the round of 16 and make it to a World Cup final? And so they take kind of a little emphasis on you need an ego as a striker, who's essentially in the number 10 spot or the number 9 spot to be able to score consistently. And you need to be the best, right? You have to have that ego. And so they take all the players from Japan and put them in this thing called Blue Lock. And it's essentially almost like, not a maze of sorts, but, consistent challenges and games and training to get them to this place. So, and they're all competing against each other.
So it's like Squid Games meets soccer challenges?
Yes. Squid Games meets soccer challenges, but instead of death, it's emotional sadness. Because your dreams are getting crushed. So if you don't make it out of Blue Lock,
your feelings are dying.
You never make it to the national team.
Oh, wow.
And this is actually super great because not only did this...
Because it crushes people's dreams.
But the show in itself is kind of pushing towards the Japanese public, and in the World Cup this past year in 2022, Japan actually beat 2 powerhouses in Germany and Spain and made it to past the round of 16 pretty much. So fantastic into what they did and what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah, I want to see, does Blue Lock focus on penalty kicks?
It does not, because that's what they needed to do.
Yes, because in the World Cup, it looked like I kicked it like 5 times. It was so dainty and soft. I do not know what they were doing in those penalty kicks, but that anime sounds awesome. Cool, and it's interesting to hear like an anime that's not just like battling and warriors and stuff, and a soccer one is like kind of interesting. I'm definitely on board with that. You had another anime. Let's go to that.
Yes. So I went back to this anime because I heard about it I think almost a year ago, and I think it came out in the 2021-20 situation. It's called Wonder Egg Priority. So the main character, I totally forget her name, so sorry. We'll call her Anna.
Okay.
She has a friend die by suicide.
Okay.
And so she's obviously affected by this emotionally. She goes to bed. She wakes up in a dream world. In the dream world, she's holding an egg, and as she's being talked to by an entity through weird objects, whether it's like toilet paper folding up to look like a mouth, or whether or not it's like a radio that's turned on, etc. It's telling her to crack the egg.
Yeah.
She essentially cracks the egg. The egg cracks and opens, and it turns into essentially another person like her. And as this is going, she is in the environment into which her friend perished.
Oh, damn.
So,
it's heavy.
It's pretty heavy. You learn that the main character, who we've called Anna, that's not her real name, sorry, has to protect the girl who's come out of the egg. Yeah. There are these things called Xeno-evils that are trying to eat her, and there's a boss that essentially wants to eat the girl that came out of the egg, and usually that boss is in accordance with the trauma that helped that individual die by suicide, right?
It's like emotional... kind of, those are like little add-ons to the emotion that caused her to
So, for example, one of them was a gymnast teacher that was a monster, and
And is this monster the Xeno-evil?
The Xeno-evils are kind of like little minions.
Oh, okay.
But the main bad guy or the main person that Anna needs to defeat is this person.
Okay.
And so let's say the girl who came out of the egg was a gymnast, and she was consistently getting torn down by her coach. And so her coach is the entity into which is trying to take her away.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting in that respect. We also find out that there are more girls in this realm that are trying to essentially, quote unquote, win the game. So if you can save enough egg girls, Wonder Egg Priority, you can then get your friend who
died to come back.
That's crazy.
Okay. Damn, that's heavy.
It's super heavy. There's more to it.
Yeah, you're like, it's a comedy.
Yeah, it's super fun. There's more to it in terms of the structure and the overall story creation and how everything works.
Yeah.
And that's a surprise, but I think if you take some time to watch it, it's a very interesting levity and explanation on more of the psyche of going through that kind of trauma, and then why that trauma is portrayed in the sense of why people
go by
suicide. Yeah.
Yeah, my habit. Wow, man, that's crazy. Actually, it sounds super interesting. I'm down for that. That sounds really weird, and not the only weird anime that we've watched recently, right? So over the break, Chainsaw Man ended, and we had episode 12. I was like, it was kind of a short season, because I feel like animes usually go on for like 20, 30 episodes, and then you're like, okay, and then it's like done for a year, and you're like, oh, what happened to whatever, My Hero, and you're like, oh, that was the mid-season finale or the finale. You're like, that was such a weird place to end it.
Very much.
But Chainsaw Man kind of ended a little bit off guard for me too, because I was like, is that the end? And it was episode 12, and we finally, like, Denji catches up to the katana, but it's not even just about Denji. Aki, Top Bun guy, he meets the ghost demon, or is it future demon?
He gets powers from the future demon.
Oh, right.
And then ipso facto, he ends up having to face the ghost demon.
That's right. Yeah. And so there's like a whole building that's full of zombies, and Denji goes with power to this building, and we get to see some more of whatever they're called, like the government agency. Yeah. Like just Demon Hunter, I guess.
Yeah, the public Demon Hunter situation.
Yeah.
I think we meet the Angel Devil.
That was crazy. She was badass.
The Shark Devil.
Yes.
Or whatever, the half demon situation.
Yeah, there was one with the gas mask.
Oh yeah, the gas mask dude.
I don't remember what his deal, like what made them special other than that gas mask looked really badass. But the shark one was interesting and could swim through cement. It was like street sharks, but it didn't like
street sharks. Thanks, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, but it didn't like tear up the streets and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting finale in that way. And then we also catch up with Makima, and she's with the Yakuza.
Yep.
And just starts like popping heads. In the Yakuza meeting.
Yeah,
which was pretty nuts.
We talked about it a little bit before, but like within the manga in itself, she gets unveiled, and you can kind of see the overall breadth of what that person's capable of. But I think in the finale too, we hear that we found enough of the Gun Devil where the little piece of him wants to go back to him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's trying to like escape the container and then like get back to it. Yeah. To his whole body, I guess. So that's how they're gonna find him.
Yeah, and it leads a lot into like they've built up the Gun Devil to be essentially like the biggest, baddest devil of all. Right? Yeah. And
I mean, if eternity and future and all these things that seem super existential are less powerful than the Gun Devil, like how fucking powerful is the Gun Devil? It's crazy.
It's super crazy. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that devil's portrayed.
Yeah.
Everything around it, like, does it just look like a big gun? Is it a person who looks like super cute and innocent?
It's just like a revolver with legs.
Yeah. With a cowboy hat, obviously.
Right.
But what was one of your favorite parts in the...
I think it was seeing some of the new devils and seeing some... Because what is Power called? She's not like a full demon, but...
She's like a blood...
it's like some type of... Yeah, there's like a certain word for it, and of course I can't remember what it is either, but she's like a halfie, and like that was interesting, but seeing the angel demon and how Denji... like, even though it starts with him and he's the main character... It's not just about him anymore. It's about these other characters and what's going on in their worlds and their lives and their motivations. I thought that was super interesting. Akibi is like still becoming even more badass. Like he had this badass demeanor always, but now he's actually like showing it more. Yeah. And I'm curious to see his arc. Because eventually, like, we see that Himeno has like really crushed him, that she's not there anymore. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Is just touching boobs gonna be Denji's motivation for the next 5 seasons?
I mean, if there's boobs, then that'd be great. But
yeah. That can motivate us to do a lot. I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. I really like it. I don't know. I'm just curious where it's gonna go, because I know it has to lead to the Gun Devil, but how they get there is. I have no idea. Yeah. It's such a wild show for me.
It's a wild show. The thing that I think I like about it the most is that we have the stereotypical Denji character who wants these very shallow rewards for kind of his motivations, but then looking at Denji and himself and then seeing all the ancillary characters with much deeper convictions kind of really puts into focus like the availability of individuals, and also too like how motivations can differ but still be as powerful.
Yeah.
So it's equality in that sense, but also on different levels. So I don't know. I feel like anime is a really great medium for introducing these sort of like thought games or thought processes that we don't normally think about.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree with you. They can get so much deeper than you think, and
For
yeah,
sure.
I think that's something I want people to kind of give a shot more in 2023. So if you've been listening to this show and you're like, anime, I don't know if it's for me. Like, give one of these shows that we've been covering a shot, because it's been super, super good. Bleach was super good last year. My Hero was super good. Like, I was so stoked on that. And Chainsaw Man was like nice and concise, 12 episodes, and it takes you down this really weird, thought-provoking path. So all for that. So there's another thing that was kind of like, for me, it felt a little anime adjacent, but it starts off so strong.
Yeah.
Like, talk about like Gun Devil and crazy, and it kind of, when I first watched Alice in Borderland, I thought it was like nothing was gonna top. I never seen anything like it, even though Battle Royale in a sense is kind of like that, which was that original, like it was a book back in the day, and then it was about those kids, and then there was Hunger Games and trying to kill each other. But man, Alice in Borderland 2 starts off so strong.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that, like, first start to episode 1 of season 2?
I mean, it took it to a level, I think, where you didn't really expect it. I thought the whole thing was just going to be about games.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't become about games anymore. It becomes about overcoming yourself. And,
True.
What are your convictions to be able to defeat these face cards, but really it's like defeating yourself, defeating that inner quote-unquote weakness, right?
Right.
And seeing the King of Spades just rip through everything.
Yeah.
Later on, you kind of get to see the face of the King of Spades in general, but...
you do? Okay, so I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
It was like 8 episodes, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So I think I'm on the beginning of episode 6.
Yes.
But, yeah, man, he seems invincible in the beginning.
Yo, it's kind of crazy. I mean, he's definitely not a stormtrooper. He hits everything, pretty much. He hits everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's really afraid of it. I think it really did up it a level, and the games into which the face cards have are much more thought-provoking, much more in-depth in terms of the characters' what is that called? I don't want to say motivations, but their characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because, man, you get to see more of what's going on in the world, right? I'm kind of... Do we get answers as to, like, what the cards mean in terms of the challenges? Because now we know, like... Okay, so King of Spades, we get to see them right off the bat, right? They decide... Alice decides, or Arisu decides that they need to go back and play more games to figure out who's actually running this, right?
Yes.
And what they mean, right? And so the first one is the King of Clubs or King of Spades. And it's just a naked guy.
Yeah.
Who's just flexing 24/7 for like probably 7 days of shooting. And they do everything perfectly to like cover up his penis.
Yeah.
Like every perfect angle to not show it. They do it a really good job. But he's like perfectly flexed and hairless. With like really nice hair too, by the way.
Good for him.
Yeah, great for that guy. But they go back into that game, and then you kind of get to see. It's almost like he has a new core group of friends that he made from the island. Once they were just like at the end of season 1. Sorry, spoiler alert. Everybody just kind of starts getting massacred, and he forms a new group, and it's this new group's like start.
Yes.
Right.
The King of Clubs in that situation too, that game, you learn, like you said, a lot more about the world, because these people that are running the games, they're not just random people. They've you get a little, once you hit the finale, you get to see a little bit more of the why they're there, and the choices that were made to be in that world, and the choices that were made to continue to remain in that world. And so, thinking about that, you have the main character Alice. Arisu, and how he's essentially in that game theory mindset, and how he's trying to escape this world. At the same point in time, you have a lot of these other ancillary characters who are like, I could stay here because my world at home wasn't good, or this, that, and the other, and it's really a fight of the inner peace, that inner monologue.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, right? Because the that was one of the things where you start learning, like, I think this is the main girl's name that's kind of his partner, like Usagi, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that her? She's the climber?
Yes.
So I thought it was interesting, like, she's like, I don't really want to go back to the regular world because my regular world sucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's like an interesting take, you know? But I'm like, dang, you really want to live in a world where every single day you have to do a challenge that could possibly kill you? That's pretty beast.
Yeah.
I was like, what would it take for me to be able to live in a world like that? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would just give up.
Yeah,
just laser me.
Like, conversely too, like the individuals who are running the games, they're running a game. So on the opposite side, right? Hypothetically speaking, if they're running the game and they get to stay and live there, they might have the availability to do that. But in order to do that, are they doing it just because it's fun, or are they doing it because they have no other choice? And if they have no other choice, then they have to then eliminate other people in order to continue to stay right. So that's the contrast is just very unveiling.
Yeah, it is. It's cool, and they're definitely making it, like you were saying, more about who they are on the inside rather than just trying to survive the game. So it's interesting. How did you feel about, because you got to go all the way through the season, right? How did you feel about how it ended?
I think the ending, for me, the ending was a little bit wonky. There were some things that weren't necessarily answered. There are some things that definitely were answered. There's also a perspective where you could say, oh, this makes complete sense. And it feels like an end. But they definitely they zoom out or zoom in, and then it leaves it open for interpretation, and it also leaves it open for continuation. Because there's 52 cards in a deck, but when you open a deck of cards, there are more than 52 cards.
There is?
Usually.
You're right. Yeah.
So
we got a Joker. I'm like, I feel like that was the dumbest comment. Like, yes, I've opened a deck of cards before.
But what else is in there? Oh, the instructions.
Oh, the instructions are. That's right. Yeah. Duh. No. Okay. That's cool. So I think what you said though, it kind of is a big hint right there. Yeah. Do they get to see all the face cards in this season?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Damn.
There was a part where I was like, wow, after all this is kind of super silly, Billy. But when it comes to the character, Arisu, and the origination, you can kind of see what the main struggle was with that person as a whole, and he has to overcome that. And so for me, it was like, oh man, get there already. But at the same point in time, he does get there, and the climax in itself is very rewarding in terms of if you've put in the time to watch Alice in Borderlands and Alice in Borderlands 2, it feels rewarding.
Nice.
In that sense, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about what I've seen so far is that you get to see his friends from back in the day. Oh, yes. Because I love those characters, and they get killed off in like the third episode of season 1 or second episode, and you're like, what? So I was happy that they found a way to bring them back in as well. So, all right, it's good. I'm happy you said that. I'm definitely going to go back and watch these last 2 episodes. Really cool. Let's see. So something we talked about for New Year's. Let's get into this. E.I.O.Yo.
E.I.O.
Yeah, basically the Daniels movie.
Yes, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. So it was definitely one of my favorite movies of last year, and Christina hadn't seen it. And it was, we knew we were going to stay in for New Year's. It was kind of rainy. So I was like, we got to watch this. I don't know why, but I was like, I have to watch it again. And it delivered. It was just as good for me this time. In fact, I think it was better for me the second time than it was the first time. Because like you were saying, even with Alice in Borderland, like more got unveiled. You get to see more of how things connect and the details of things and how it opens up the main lady's life and how different lives connected to her life and what it taught her about the life that she was in. And something about what if you were like, the multiverse, the infinite multiverse, where there's, a Drake who went left one day instead of going right, or who, became a writer, who really stuck to writing and that was his thing, or who did jujitsu, maybe 10 years earlier or whatever, what would their life be like? And if you could tap into their life, what would it tell you about the current life you're living? And man, it just hits so much harder this time.
Man, I resonate with that, definitely. obviously, as somebody who sometimes reads a little bit too much into conspiracy theories, there's a lot of multiverse situations going on right now. So, is it real? Potentially, we don't know, right?
Right.
Conversely, when it comes to like the Hermetics, right, which is like the ancient Hermes situation of the Kybalion and blah blah blah, it talks about polarities, right, and as above, so below. Okay. So, in the sense of us being able to tap into our future selves, our past selves, those branched off, like it is almost a reality, right? Because you can use your brain and mind to think about those things and really pull through. But what the movie does great is actualize it.
Yeah.
Right? In a very fun, meaningful manner, because if you could do that, you would be more of a self-actualized individual who's more capable of handling things. Obviously, there are some super hilarious parts. I think they really did a great job at dealing with Asian parent youth culture. Yeah. Together, they dealt with a lot of different kind of things that you and I are familiar with just because we're Asians. Man, what are some of the things that stood out for you that really made you love the film?
Yeah, great question. But yeah, I think that's it. There's a lot of relatability, and it's also like showing a culture maybe a lot of people that I know on the mainland that they may not be familiar with it. They may have passing familiarity, like maybe they have that one Asian friend, or maybe they go to, the Chinese restaurant that's not Panda Express, and then they can get like their food and they talk to the person behind the register or whatever. But it was cool to kind of see what their life is like as an American or like an immigrant to America. I thought that was cool. I mean, Michelle Yeoh is fantastic in it. Yeoh is dope. Good. Yeah, she's so good. And it was like, you knew she was good from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon days, but now I really feel like this movie allowed her to really have range.
I agree. Like, I mean, her comedic timing was great. And I don't know if that was a directorial thing or if that was just Michelle and herself, but like you said, she has so much range. And I know we were talking about this offline, but like what the Daniels were able to do with this, kind of typecast individual, and then really broaden it so that not only is there a familiarity because there was some kung fu relation, but in a familial sense, literally, as it pertains to like the culture and the world and real life. And man, I don't know that a movie has done this, or even directors do this quite consistently. I think maybe every once in a while we get something like this movie, but... True.
The other thing I really liked about it was it's so hard to explain. I was trying to talk to somebody about it recently. I'm like, it was one of my favorite movies of the year. And they're like, what's it like? Or like, what's it about? I'm like... Well, there's like Asian parents and IRS and multiverse, and then there's kung fu, and then there's comedy, and then there's acceptance. It's like, how do you explain this movie, without going into a conversation like this, right? And so all I was going to add to that was like Michelle Yeoh, she gets to add on to the skills we already know she has.
Yes.
She has like strong Chinese and martial arts ties, and she gets to do that in this show. But at the same time, she gets to show, being unaccepting of her daughter being gay, and also trying to be a good daughter for her traditionally Chinese dad, and really like dealing with him not accepting her being a daughter when he wanted a son. And then, hey, I've always wanted to be a singer. What would it be like if I was a professional singer? What would it be like if I was just that actress that got to perform? What would it be like if I really, went down martial arts and that was my life? Or what if I just didn't stay, or what if I didn't marry my husband?
Yeah. It hits home for everything. And to be honest, the movie title in itself does lend itself to what the movie is. Yeah. Because not only do you get all of those things, you get you get references to Disney Pixar movies. Yeah. You get references to other kung fu movies. You get references to everything. It is
horror, alien.
Yes, you literally get everything everywhere all at once.
Definitely.
If the Daniels don't come close to winning an Oscar or some sort of high, something they deserve, right? Obviously, not everybody gives a shit about an Oscar, but
right. But yeah, like I do hear what you're saying. Like they deserve some type of high award for the amount of creativity and then pulling it off.
Yeah.
Because there was about 2/3 of the movie where Christina was like, I don't get this. This is too weird. And I'm like, we're not high. We're drunk. She was just like, I can't do this. It's too weird. I'm like, trust me, there's a payoff at the end. Like, just stick with it. It makes sense. It's kind of like a Rick and Morty episode, except for there is like some type of like payoff. Like there's some connectivity and there's a reason for it. Like sometimes Rick and Morty episodes end and you're just like, what? Like, what happened? Why didn't it go down this one way? I thought it was going this way. It didn't go this way. It's super weird, but there is this reason for every little detail in the movie, and that's what I loved about it. It's like, it seems so off the wall, like the guy jumping on the trophy that looks like a butt plug.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But it like makes sense in the terms of the story, and you're like, what the heck? And then he fights her with the butt plug in.
Oh my god.
And it was hilarious, but it makes sense because in order for you to tap into one of your multiversal selves, and through a series of choices, it has to be something completely random, for you to connect with this other version of yourself, to then tap into their memories and skills, you have to do something weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of dope. And just, there's something about, I had to take everything, all my guilt, all my pain, all my experience, all these things, all this knowledge, I had to put everything on a bagel. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
like
everything bagel. Here we go.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, but it works and it's funny. I'm like, fuck, okay, this is smart. It's like so goofball and so out there that it's actually smart and it's creative. And dude, yeah, we were talking about, right? Like they did the Daniels, they did Swiss Army Man, and then what was the music video they did?
Oh, they did Little John's Turn It Down for What?
Turn Down for What? Yeah, and that was so wild, but such like by the start of that music video and where it ends is ridiculous. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a Little John song, and Turn Down for What. It's like such a crazy music video, but dude, it was such a good movie. I highly recommend it, and yeah, I loved it. Anything else on Everything Everywhere?
I think if you're like thinking, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that, watch it, put time into it. I do think if you go into it, regardless of whether or not you want to watch it or don't want to watch it, it's going to give you something to take home.
Yeah.
So give it a chance. Stop being such a turd.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, next thing that I've been watching that I just want to highlight, because it kind of surprised me, and I don't know why I was skeptical about watching this show. It just looked, I don't know, I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then I went into it, and I started playing it, and Kumail Nanjiani is so good. And I think I was telling you, it's like the first time I've actually seen him play like an Indian guy, like who's from India. You know, he's from Bombay. But I mean, he plays like, you know, American. He's almost like Aziz Ansari. Like Aziz Ansari can talk about Indian culture, but he's from America.
Yes.
Where I always feel like Kumail is the same way. But this is the first time I've seen him play like an Indian guy from India, and he does such a good job. It's really crazy, and it's the story about how they created Chippendales. And man, it kind of like took me by surprise, but I'm really, really digging it. Again, I don't know what's wrong with me. I always stop at the 6th episode, apparently, but like I'm on the 6th episode with this show too, and it's really, really good so far. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
No, definitely. I think what's coming out a lot is like these stories of how things were made. And like really off the wall stuff. Like you wouldn't think the Chippendales would have such a deep, rich history. The fact that it does, and the fact that it's so enthralling, I think it adds even more to it. Like I'm wondering how much more Chippendales will see, maybe a rise in attendance, maybe a rise in finance based on the fact of this history. And you know, truth be told, we all have histories. We all come from a certain place. We have to understand and respect those things and really accept them. Right, even if same thing with Everything Everywhere All at Once, and a lot of the things that we've been seeing more so is the acceptance of both sides, right? The good and the bad creates that harmony for that space for love. And I assume, like the Chippendales, right? Love.
Yeah. I think you brought up a good point though. Like seeing these origins of things, it kind of reminded me of like the Pam and Tommy sex tape. It's a Hulu show, and it has like that Hulu type of realism backstory with some drama, so it's kind of filmed in that way a little bit. And then there's also The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried.
Oh yes,
where Theranos, that girl. Yeah. Like so, it kind of feels like that too. But yeah, it kind of shows you like the inner workings. And I had no idea Chippendales was made by, an Indian immigrant from India. And, to me, I thought Chippendales was this very American thing. Like one of my earliest, and I have never been to a Chippendales show, but my earliest Chippendales memory was the SNL episode
with Chris Farley.
With Chris Farley
Yep.
and Patrick Swayze.
Yep.
And they're just like, like grinding on each other. And yeah, I mean, it was such pop culture in the zeitgeist. Like, that was like, Chippendales is such an American thing, and it was just interesting to see how it started and then the drama and how it expanded, because it didn't expand from a place of purely like, we want to grow the business. It expanded from kind of this internal rivalry between two guys. And man, he plays it off so well. The only funny part about Kamal is you can tell he's still buff from maybe like Eternals training, and they try to make him not look buff.
Yeah.
So they add him in these like puffier suits, but he's like back is so massive, so his guns are like firing and all the suits and everything. Man. So that part is kind of a little funny, which I did notice. But the drama and just the way it carries you through and how the business evolves is super, super interesting. So yeah, I really, really recommend it. He's a great actor. The cast is all really, really good, and yeah, they even have like this thing about like people kind of being racist to him, but then him being racist to like black people. So it's really kind of cool. Not cool, but like it's interesting how they touch on it in a very interesting way, and it kind of shows like, wow, what culture and society was like back then, and how society may even be different for immigrants to America.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to get too deep, but it was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of crazy how they're touching on this.
I think especially with the amount of news, I should say, individuals who are newer to the game, the Daniels, these types of Chippendales things.
Yeah.
You gotta give these things chances, because maybe they'll surprise you in terms of what they give you, what you can view from them, and you never
can
know.
view a lot from this show.
Yeah. Is there full frontal male nudity?
There is not, but it's pretty damn close.
Dang. Well, we don't get a lot of shows with full frontal male nudity, so if you want something really close, you should check out the story of the Chippendales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's surprising. I don't know how it ends yet, but it's definitely worth checking out the pilot episode of it for sure. Yeah, really, really good.
Another thing that came out, because that was on what streaming service?
That was on Hulu.
On Netflix, they have a newer movie that came out called White Noise. Oh, okay. And it's with Kylo Ren. What is that guy's name?
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. And also not Don Cheadle. Is that Don Cheadle? Yeah, Don Cheadle.
War Machine?
Yeah, Don Cheadle's in that dude.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna read you the plot summary off of IMDb, because it's very hard to explain.
Okay. We should have done that for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that probably would have been better too. But anywho, sir, White Noise in itself dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempts to deal with the mundane conflicts of everyday life while grappling with the universal mysteries of love, death, and the possibility of happiness in an uncertain world. At once hilarious and horrifying, lyrical and absurd, ordinary and apocalyptic, White Noise dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempts to deal with the same things I just talked about in the previous paragraph.
Nice.
So what can I say about it? Aside from give it a chance, it really kind of felt Wes Anderson-y. I believe the director had written for screenplay Fantastic Mr. Fox and things, and what is that called? Life Aquatic, I think.
Yeah.
So, in that vibe, it's very that kind of comedy humor. Adam Driver is a very good actor.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And every single movie he does, you kind of get a little bit more breath. And remember, this dude was just a dude who was a Marine for a little bit, and he didn't know what he wanted to do, and then he went into acting, and now he's Everything Everywhere All at Once, right?
Yeah.
So, you can kind of see him go through emotional state. You can see him go through not necessarily an angry state, but like a more calm, soothing state. His character in this show he is a professor at a college on the Hill, or University on the Hill, and he studied Nazism.
Oh, wow.
And then there's other people within the college. It's very like a weird kind of adjacent type movie where all the characters are in different places. But he uses that platform, and when he speaks, he has a monologue in there where he's talking about how the Nazis or Hitler was very much so in line in the same type of avenue as Elvis Presley. Because Don Cheadle's character is a professor of Elvis Presley, and that's kind of what they're teaching in this environment.
Okay.
So you
Are they against each other?
They're not against each other. Don Cheadle was like, I need you to come into my class and help give me a little bit more clout. And so Adam Driver comes in and he's giving this monologue, and the monologue is nuts. It's so outside of what the movie seems like it is.
Yeah.
But it really like focuses you onto it.
Okay.
So to be honest, give it a shot if you don't have, or if you have like an hour 45 minutes to get into this. It's not something that you're gonna be like, man, I'm like, this is super awesome. It's just gonna be nice to be able to watch kind of acting from individuals who you're just surprised are just so good at what they do.
Yeah. You know? I bet their dynamic is really good too, because they're both, like you were saying, fantastic actors, and they both have done super serious roles. They've done kind of pop hits, and then they've kind of done, some funnier stuff and more comedic things. So, man, that seems like a really good dynamic and kind of back and forth between those two guys.
Yes, the youth acting is pretty decent in here as well too. So to further the point, the apocalyptic portion is a train crashes, there's some weird fog situation that goes into the air, and then it is looming over this town. And so there's a point in time where they don't know what this fog situation, this chemical is.
What?
And so, yeah, it's...
Imagine this took a huge turn already.
Yes. And then, but the focus of the thing is on... These things are happening, but the focus is on the relationship of the husband and the wife, Adam Driver and his wife.
Okay.
Because you find out the wife is doing something, like taking these pills, and you don't know what these pills are. And everything's happening while we're trying to figure out, what are these pills about? Oh, you got these pills from where? Oh, why are these this for this? Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's a weird movie, but it was worth the time that I had, so.
Right on. Okay.
Give it a try.
I want to give it a shot. That sounds pretty good, man. White Noise. That one slipped under the radar for me, so you kind of got me hooked on it. And I got to give that a shot. This was pretty crazy.
Crazy.
All right, last thing. I know we wanted to try and watch this together, but since it came out, and I don't know if you were able to watch it yet, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Agua.
Yeah, I think it's like the 7th highest grossing film of all time already. So shout out to James Gunn for having 3 movies, if not 4, in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time.
James Gunn was in this too with Kirk Cameron?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I said James Gunn. Got James Gunn on the brain. Feeling bad for that guy and and what he has to do this year, but I'm sure he's going to kill it. No, James Cameron. Sorry, you're totally right. James Cameron, man, I mean, between Titanic, the first Avatar, now Avatar: The Way of Water, man, it was something. It was a spectacle. Like, and I agree with what I've kind of read online, and I really didn't want to get too deep into the reviews or anything. I wanted to kind of go in with my own kind of mind on it and have my own opinions about it. But the spectacle... Okay, let's just start with this. The story, pretty basic. Very bland. Like, it was a basic movie. There wasn't anything too crazy as far as the story went for me. I didn't think it wasn't too much of a far departure even from the first movie, but you're here for the spectacle, right? You're here for the visuals and special effects. And damn, did that deliver. I thought that they really crushed it there, as he said they would. But man, it was cool. It was beautiful. It really felt like this really well thought out water part of this world that was completely unique from our world. Some similarities, and some similarities to like Polynesian culture as well.
Nice.
Yeah, there was like some tidbits there where you're like, okay, I really like understand this or get this, but then also like making it fresh and kind of alien too, and yeah. So I think it's a movie you do need to go to the movie theater to see. I know we were like, I told Christina like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like 3 hours and like 20 minutes or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, over 3 hours. And I'm like, just give it a shot. You can go to the bathroom if you need to. And there was some point where I like did dip out for like 3 minutes in like the first half of the movie. I didn't feel like I missed too much. And Yeah, it was great. Like, I didn't feel like I missed anything. It just kind of flowed pretty nice, and it was good. It was a really, really just good, solid movie. Was it a great movie? Was it like better than some of the best movies I saw last year? For me, no. But the visuals were incredible. Some of the best visuals I think I've seen since Endgame.
Interesting. I think Scott and I were talking about potentially maybe watching it in 3D, just because, like you talked about, the spectacle. And you're saying that it was great even without 3D?
Yeah.
So assumingly 3D could be even more of a dimensional addition, obviously, because it's 3-dimensional. Anyways.
There could be an added dimension from 2D?
From 2 dimensions? But I think that as we're kind of coming through, there's a clean slate to say that even if something is familiar, even if something is... something you've seen before. And you can even make the argument for, like, Marvel movies, right? The general thing is the same. You just have different characters and different expectations with different blah-de-bloop-bloops. Mm-hmm. And with this new Avatar, yes, it might be very similar to the first story, and maybe it might not even be game-changing. But the fact of the matter is when you're going to the cinema, when you're seeing how initially cinema took place, where it was black and white, you had to literally move the film for it to capture anything.
Yeah.
Right? And if it stayed on too long, it would explode because it's heat on this weird flammable paper.
I feel like you're just recounting Nope now.
Yep. To a point where you're going to a movie just so you can see how badass it is. Like,
yeah.
Who cares if it's not as good story-wise when you have this availability of technology to keep you involved, and where we're growing as not only a society but as like entertainment and things of the such.
Right.
Taking that for granted or not even giving that its homage or its adieu, I should say, just because the story isn't all that in a bag of chips. Like, it's the 7th highest grossing movie in the world. So,
right.
You go to a movie because you want to watch it, not because you want to listen to the story as much, right?
Yeah. It is different in that way. Like, there's some movies where you're like, whoa, this story is going to move me, or it's going to take me to this place. There is moments of that, and the acting is still really great. It's just, this is about spectacle, and it delivers. So if you are not, really looking for this game-changing Titanic love story or anything, but, you want to see something you've never seen before, I think this movie delivers on that. It's really, really freaking good.
I think that makes sense, though. Like, a lot of people are looking for things they haven't seen before. They're looking for the new, right? And they want to be that, oh man, I discovered, or this, that, and the other. But there's so much available to us, filtering it out and finding what you like as a person, or as an individual, or as a group, or whatever. I think that's kind of the new thing to do.
Yeah.
Because now you're able to create more connections based on the fact of these similarities that you like with not only your entertainment or your games or the books you read or the music you listen to, etc. So I feel like as like society builds with all of these things coming out, we're really seeing kind of a turn in how we're getting together and what we're circling around. So that's pretty interesting from that standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. But you are right. That it is cool. I don't think we need any to help this movie sell by any means. It's like obviously crushing it, but it's a movie to go see in theaters for sure. And it's a fun one to kind of kick back with friends at the end and just be like, remember this, or you saw this, or like, how cool was that? It'll do that for you, so it's pretty cool. And I feel like it gives a lot of respect to the ocean, so and the creatures in it and stuff, and I feel like we can relate to that being from Hawaii, so
definitely
pretty badass. But man, that's kind of all we got on the agenda. We got Scott's wedding. We did watch quite a bit, more than I thought we had watched over the break. And I'm again excited for Scott's wedding tomorrow. Excited to celebrate him and Christine. It's going to be really awesome, and just continue to do this week in and week out with you guys and bring more to the JoySchtick Show in 2023.
Yes, look forward for us to continue to expand, to continue to give the content that you love, and for us to continue to hang out, because obviously that's our shtick.
Oh yeah. Well, aloha guys, and thanks for sticking it with us. Peace. If you like what you hear, please like, follow, and subscribe. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us on Twitch, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at JoySchtick.Show, JoySchtick Show. Or if you feel like submitting topics or asking questions to be discussed on further episodes, you can email us at JoySchtick.Show@gmail.com. Peace out and make it a great rest of your week.